The Montana wilderness stretched silent under heavy snow until a scarred Belgian Malinois began barking at an abandoned cabin that shouldn't have existed on any map. What Officer Sarah Chen discovered inside that frozen structure would expose a desperate 11-day survival story and force her to confront the very thing she'd been running from since her husband's death. Before we start, make sure to hit like, share, and subscribe. Drop your country name in the comments. I love seeing how far our stories travel. The morning air bit sharp and cold across the mountain staging area. Sarah stood beside the command trailer, breath misting white in the freezing January dawn. Her gloved hands rubbed together, but felt nothing through the thick material. 11 days had passed since Emily and David Rodriguez vanished during what should have been a simple hiking trip near Glacier National Park. The search had consumed everything: helicopters, ground teams, volunteers from 3 counties, but the mountains kept their secrets well. 3 days ago, the coordinator had pulled most teams. The case was going cold. Sarah had stayed anyway. She always stayed. Around her, the staging area hummed with quiet activity. A few remaining volunteers packed gear. Their faces showed exhaustion and defeat, the kind that came from searching endlessly and finding nothing. Sarah knew that look. She'd seen it in her own mirror for 18 months, since Tom died. Her husband had been a cop too, killed during a routine traffic stop that turned violent. One moment, he was writing a ticket. The next, he was gone. The department had offered grief counseling, time off, support groups. She'd refused it all. Work was easier than feeling. The mountains stretched endlessly before her, peaks disappearing into gray clouds. Snow covered everything, beautiful and merciless. Somewhere out there, a father and daughter were either surviving or already lost forever. The thought made her chest tighten. Deputy Marcus Hall approached, his boots crunching through packed snow. Steam rose from the coffee cup in his weathered hands. At 52, he'd seen more than most officers ever would. He'd also been Tom's mentor before becoming hers. "Chen," he said, his voice rough from too many cold mornings. "You should head home. Fresh teams coming in tomorrow." Sarah shook her head. The movement was automatic now. "I'm fine." "You've been out here 6 days straight." His eyes narrowed with concern. "That's not fine. That's running." "So have you," she countered. He sighed. Didn't argue. They both knew she was right. "Fair enough. But you're meeting your new partner this afternoon. Don't forget." She had forgotten, completely. The K9 unit had finally assigned her a dog after months of paperwork and evaluation. Rex, a 3-year-old Belgian Malinois who'd lost his previous handler in a training accident 6 months ago. Another broken soul being shuffled back into service. The department thought partnering damaged goods would somehow create something whole. Sarah wasn't convinced. She hadn't wanted a dog, hadn't wanted another partner. The pain of losing one was more than enough. "What time?" she asked. 2 o'clock. Transport vans coming from Missoula. Hall studied her face carefully. "Tom would want you to move forward, Sarah." Her jaw clenched. "Don't." "Someone has to say it." "Well, don't." The words came out sharper than intended. Hall raised both hands in surrender. "All right. Just don't forget. 2 o'clock. He walked away, leaving her alone with the mountains and her thoughts. Neither offered comfort. Sarah turned back toward the command trailer. Inside, maps covered every surface. Red marks indicated searched areas. Blue marks showed zones still pending. White spaces represented terrain too dangerous or remote to access. So much white space. A young volunteer emerged from the trailer, face pale. "Officer Chen, the coordinator wants to see you." Sarah followed him inside. The trailer smelled like burnt coffee and defeat. Coordinator Jensen sat hunched over a laptop, dark circles under his eyes. He looked up when she entered. "We're officially scaling back to skeleton crew," he said without preamble. "You, Hall, and 2 others. That's it." "They're still out there," Sarah said. "I know, but we've covered every viable area twice. The window for survival in this cold." He didn't finish. Didn't need to. "One more day," she pressed. "Give me 1 more day." Jensen rubbed his face. "Fine, 1 day. Then we transition to recovery mode." Recovery mode. A polite way of saying they'd be looking for bodies come spring thaw. Sarah left the trailer. The sun had risen higher now, though clouds obscured most of its warmth. She walked to her truck, needing movement, needing purpose. The Rodriguez family's faces haunted her. Emily's school photo showed a bright-eyed 9-year-old with dark hair and her father's smile. David was 41. A software engineer who loved hiking with his daughter. They'd done everything right, filed a plan, carried supplies, stayed on marked trails. And still, the mountains had swallowed them. Sarah checked her watch. 11:30. 2.5 hours until she met Rex. Part of her wanted to skip it, claimed she was too busy, too focused on the search. But Hall would see through that immediately. He always did. She drove back toward town. The mountain road winding through dense forest. Snow weighted down the pine branches. Everything looked pristine and peaceful. Deceptive. Nature didn't care about human suffering. It simply existed, beautiful and brutal in equal measure. Her house sat on the edge of town. Small. Quiet. Too quiet. She'd moved here with Tom 3 years ago, drawn by the mountains and the promise of a simpler life. Now the silence felt suffocating. His clothes still hung in the closet. His coffee mug sat in a cabinet. She couldn't bring herself to pack any of it away. Moving forward felt like betrayal. Sarah showered and changed into a clean uniform, ate something that might have been food. Her mind stayed in the mountains, replaying search patterns and wondering what they'd missed. There had to be something, some detail overlooked, some path not taken. At 1:50, she drove to the canine facility on the south side of town. The building was modern, built 5 years ago with grant money. Inside, the smell of dogs and disinfectant filled the air. Barking echoed from the kennel area. Handler Rodriguez met her at the entrance. Different Rodriguez. No relation to the missing family. Life had a cruel sense of irony sometimes. "Officer Chen," he said, extending his hand. "Ready to meet your new partner?" "As ready as I'll ever be." He led her through the facility to the outdoor training area. A Belgian Malinois sat in the center of the yard, perfectly still. His coat was dark, nearly black across his shoulders and back. Lighter tan colored his legs and face. Scars marked his left shoulder, 3 parallel lines that looked like claw marks. Rex. His amber eyes tracked her approach. Intelligent, watchful, assessing. "He's been cleared psychologically," Handler Rodriguez explained. "But he's intense, needs a firm, confident partner." His previous handler was killed when a training exercise went wrong. Scaffolding collapse. Rex was there when it happened. Sarah knelt slowly, bringing herself to the dog's eye level. Rex didn't move, just watched her with those sharp, knowing eyes. "Hey, boy," she said quietly. Something flickered across his expression. Recognition, maybe. Or perhaps he simply saw in her what she saw in him. Loss. Grief. The weight of moving forward when everything inside screamed to stay still. "Rex, heel," Handler Rodriguez commanded. The dog moved immediately to Sarah's left side. His positioning was perfect, military precise. No hesitation, but no warmth either. This was duty, not affection. She reached out slowly and touched his head. His fur was coarse and thick, built for cold weather. He tolerated the touch, but didn't lean into it. "We'll figure this out," Sarah whispered. "Both of us." Rex's ear twitched. The only acknowledgement she'd get. Handler Rodriguez walked them through basic commands. Rex obeyed each one flawlessly. Sit, stay, down, search. His responses were mechanical, efficient, like a soldier following orders without question. Sarah watched him carefully. Something about his stillness unsettled her. Most dogs showed emotion, excitement, nervousness, something. Rex showed nothing, just calm, calculated focus. "He'll warm up," Handler Rodriguez assured her. "Give him time." "He's been through a lot." Haven't we all, Sarah thought. They completed the paperwork. Rex was officially hers now, her partner, her responsibility. The weight of it settled across her shoulders like the snow that blanketed the mountains. She loaded Rex into her truck. He jumped in without hesitation and sat in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead through the windshield. Sarah started the engine. Her radio crackled to life immediately. "Chen, you there?" Deputy Hall's voice cut through static. She grabbed the radio. "Go ahead." "We've got something," Hiker reported seeing smoke, 6 miles northeast of the staging area, off any known trail. Her pulse quickened. "Smoke? In this weather?" "Small, intermittent. Could be nothing." Hall paused. "Could be something. I'm 20 minutes out. I'll check it." Sarah, wait for backup. That terrain is rough, and you've got a new dog who... 6 miles. I can cover that in 90 minutes with Rex. She was already turning the truck around. I'll radio when I have eyes on the location. Hall's sigh crackled through the speaker. Fine, but if you're not back by dark, I'm coming after you myself. Copy that. She glanced at Rex. He hadn't moved, hadn't reacted to the conversation at all. Just sat there, statue still. Looks like we're getting field experience sooner than expected, she said. His ear twitched, nothing more. The drive back to the staging area took 25 minutes. Sarah pushed the speed limit on the icy roads. Smoke meant fire. Fire meant someone was alive. After 11 days as nothing, this was the first real hope they'd had. She parked and geared up quickly. Extra water, emergency blanket, first aid kit, flares. Her service weapon sat heavy on her hip. The coordinates Hall had given her were deep in the backcountry. No trails, no structures marked on any map. Rex waited patiently while she prepared. When she opened his door, he jumped down and immediately began scanning the area. His nose worked the cold air. His body language shifted slightly. Alert now, focused. Ready to work, boy? He looked at her. Those amber eyes held something she couldn't quite read. They started into the forest. The snow was deep here, nearly 2 feet in places. Sarah's boots punched through the crust with each step. Her thighs burned within the first half-mile. Rex moved ahead, his paws distributing his weight better across the surface. The temperature was dropping, maybe 15 degrees. Her breath came in visible clouds. Ice crystals formed on her eyelashes. This was brutal terrain even in summer. In January, it was borderline deadly. After 40 minutes of hiking, Rex stopped. His entire body went rigid. Ears forward, head low. A growl rumbled deep in his chest. Sarah's hand moved to her weapon. What is it, boy? He didn't move, just stared into the dense tree line ahead. The growl intensified, vibrating through his entire frame. Something was out there. She scanned the forest, saw nothing but snow and shadows. Rex, search. He lunged forward suddenly, pulling hard against the lead. Not erratic or panicked, purposeful, like he'd caught a specific scent and was locked onto it. They pushed deeper into the wilderness. The trees grew thicker here. Branches hung low, weighted with snow. Sarah had to duck several times to avoid getting hit. Rex never slowed. He moved with singular determination. Her radio crackled. Chen, status? Following Rex. He's onto something. She checked her GPS. We're about 4 miles in. No visual yet. Copy. Stay sharp. The forest opened into a small clearing. Rex stopped again. His nose worked the air frantically now. Then he barked, sharp, insistent. Not his trained alert bark. Something else entirely. Easy, boy. He barked again. Wouldn't stop. His eyes were locked on something ahead. Then Sarah saw it. A cabin. Small. Maybe 12 feet by 12 feet. Partially hidden by a cluster of dense evergreens. Rough-hewn logs. A metal roof sagging under snow weight. Smoke drifted weakly from a makeshift chimney constructed from stacked rocks. Her heart hammered. Hall, I've got a structure. Sending coordinates now. Copy. What kind of structure? Cabin. Not on any map. Someone's inside. There's smoke. Rex barked again, more urgent now. He scratched at the frozen ground, muscles tense. This wasn't random. Dogs didn't act like this without reason. Sarah unholstered her sidearm and approached slowly. Sheriff's Department. Anyone inside? Silence. Rex barked continuously now. He moved to the cabin door and scratched frantically at the weathered wood. Easy, Rex. Heel. He ignored her completely. That was wrong. He'd followed every command perfectly at the facility. This was different. This was personal somehow. Sarah tried the door handle, locked from inside. This is Officer Chen with Flathead County Sheriff's Department. I need you to open the door. A sound came from within. Faint. Movement, maybe. Something scraping against wood. I'm not here to hurt anyone. I just need to know you're okay. More silence. Then a voice, small, terrified, young. Please help us. A child. Sarah's breath caught. Emily? Emily Rodriguez? Yes, the voice broke. Please, my dad is sick. We're so cold. Every nerve in Sarah's body ignited. Okay, sweetie, I'm going to get you out. Can you unlock the door? The girl's voice dropped to a whisper. There's a man. He won't let us leave. Rex's barking reached a fever pitch. His claws dug into the frozen earth. Sarah keyed her radio. Hall, I found them. Emily Rodriguez and her father. There's a third party involved. Unknown threat level. I need immediate backup to my coordinates. Static crackled. Copy. ETA 30 minutes. Do not engage until we arrive. 30 minutes. Emily's father was sick. 11 days in this cold. Every minute mattered. Can't wait that long, Sarah muttered. She circled the cabin, looking for another entrance. A window maybe. Something. Rex followed, still agitated. He kept returning to the cabin's side wall, sniffing, pawing. Rex, what is it? He looked at her. Then back at the wall. Then at her again. Clear intention in his eyes. She approached the spot. At ground level, where the logs met the foundation, there was a gap. Small, maybe 18 inches high. A crawl space beneath the structure. Rex had found another way in. You've got to be kidding me, Sarah said. But he was right. The front was locked. This was the only option. She radioed Hall again. I'm going in. There's a crawl space. Emily says her father is sick. Can't wait. Sarah, that's not protocol. You don't know what. 11 days, Marcus. Her father might not have 30 more minutes. Silence. Then, be careful. We're coming fast. Sarah holstered her weapon and dropped to her stomach. The gap was tight, barely enough room to squeeze through. She pulled out her flashlight, gripped it between her teeth, and began crawling. The space beneath the cabin was dark and cramped, maybe 2 feet of clearance. Her shoulders scraped against frozen earth and rough wood. The smell of damp soil and rot filled her nose. Rex somehow wormed in behind her. She could hear his breathing, feel his presence. Her flashlight beam swept across the darkness. There, a floor hatch. Rough wood with a simple latch. Locked from below with a basic hook-and-eye setup. She reached up and pushed. The latch resisted. She pushed harder. Metal scraped. The hook lifted free. The hatch opened slowly. Hinges creaked. Old, rusted. Sarah pulled herself up through the opening and emerged into darkness. Her flashlight swept the cabin interior. A small room. Dirt floor. Makeshift fireplace in one corner with embers glowing faintly. 2 figures huddled together in the opposite corner. A girl with matted dark hair. A man lying motionless beside her. Face flushed red even in the dim light. Emily Rodriguez. David Rodriguez. Alive. Sweetie, I'm Officer Chen. You're safe now. Emily's eyes were wide with fear and exhaustion. Tears cut tracks through the dirt on her face. He'll hear you. You'll come back. Who will? The man. He locked us in. He said we're trespassing. He said. The front door rattled. Rex launched himself up through the hatch. Positioned himself immediately between Sarah and the sound. His hackles raised. A growl so deep and primal it seemed impossible from his chest. The door swung open. A man stood in the doorway. Elderly. Late 60s maybe. Long gray beard streaked with white. His clothes were layered and worn. Military surplus jacket. Boots wrapped in duct tape. Eyes that held confusion and fear in equal measure. He held a hunting rifle, not aimed, just carried across his body. Sarah kept her hand near her weapon but didn't draw. Sheriff's Department, I'm Officer Chen. I need you to put the rifle down, sir. This is my land. His voice cracked with disuse. My cabin. They're trespassing. Sir, this is federal land. Glacier National Park borders. You're not authorized to. Lies. His voice rose sharply. Government lies. They told me my land was taken. Eminent domain, but I never left. I stayed right here. Rex hadn't moved, still positioned protectively between Sarah and the man. His growl remained low and steady, a warning. Sarah recognized the signs. Paranoia, isolation. This man wasn't dangerous by nature. He was broken. What's your name, sir? Gerald Pittman. The name clicked in Sarah's memory. Old case files. Vietnam veteran. Wife died 5 years ago. Went off-grid after that. Search parties had looked for him briefly but found nothing. Eventually declared a voluntary missing person. Considered harmless. Mr. Pittman, this girl and her father need medical attention. They've been missing for 11 days. Missing? Genuine confusion crossed his weathered face. They wandered here. Lost. I gave them shelter, fire, food. And why did you lock them in? His grip tightened on the rifle. Because they'll tell. They'll bring others. More government. More people trying to take what's mine. Sarah needed to de-escalate fast. Mr. Pittman, I can see you tried to help them. You gave them fire, shelter, that kept them alive. But David needs a hospital. Look at him. Gerald's eyes shifted to David's unconscious form. Something flickered across his expression. Doubt, maybe. Or regret. Hospitals are traps, he muttered. They don't let you leave. He'll die without treatment. His daughter will watch him die. You don't want that. I didn't mean. His voice wavered. I just wanted to be left alone. Emily sobbed quietly. The sound cut through the tension. Gerald flinched at it. I know, Sarah said softly. I understand wanting to be alone. But let me take them. Then we'll talk about your situation. I promise. He wavered. The rifle lowered slightly. They'll say I kidnapped them. They'll lock me away. Nobody's going to. I can't be locked away. His voice broke. I can't be in a cage again. The rifle started to rise. Not toward Sarah. Toward himself. I can't go back. I can't. Rex barked once. Sharp, commanding, not aggressive, something else entirely. Eerily, Gerald froze. His eyes locked on the dog. Rex took one slow step forward, deliberate, calm. He didn't charge or threaten, just moved closer with complete confidence. He barked again, softer this time, almost gentle. Gerald's hands trembled, the rifle lowered another inch. Rex sat, made direct eye contact with the old man. Something passed between them, understanding that transcended words, two souls who'd seen combat, who carried scars nobody else could see. Your dog, Gerald whispered. Military trained, police canine. He knows. Tears formed in Gerald's eyes. He knows what it's like. Sarah took a careful step forward. Mr. Pittman, let's all just sit down. We'll figure this out together. Nobody's going to hurt you. I didn't hurt them. His voice cracked completely. I swear. I gave them everything I had. I couldn't let them leave. Couldn't be alone again. The rifle lowered completely. Gerald's shoulders shook with silent sobs. Years of isolation and grief breaking through his defenses. Sarah moved slowly and took the weapon gently from his hands. He didn't resist. Just collapsed to his knees, face buried in his hands. Rex remained seated, watchful but no longer threatening. Sarah radioed Deputy Hall. Suspect secured, non-violent, situation under control. I need medical and psychological evaluation for all parties. Patient is critical. Copy, medevac is inbound, 5 minutes out. She turned to Emily. Sweetie, we're going to get your dad help now. You're both going home. Emily nodded, unable to speak. She clung to her father's hand. Sarah checked David's vitals. His pulse was weak and thready, skin burning with fever. She pulled back his jacket and saw the source. His left leg. The pant fabric was stiff with dried blood. How long has he been like this? 3 days. Emily's voice was barely audible. He cut his leg on a rock. On the 2nd day. It got bad. Sarah carefully cut away the fabric. The wound was deep, jagged, infected severely. Red streaks radiated up his thigh. Sepsis, blood poisoning. He needed antibiotics immediately. Hall, upgrade that medevac request. We have septic infection. Patient might not last long. Copy. They're pushing hard. 3 minutes. David's breathing was shallow and irregular. His eyes moved beneath closed lids. Fever dreams. Stay with me, Mr. Rodriguez. Emily needs you. You have to fight. Gerald still knelt by the door, broken and silent. Rex moved to him and sat close, not threatening, just present. The old man reached out tentatively and touched the dog's head. I'm sorry, Gerald whispered. I'm so sorry. I know, Sarah said. We'll get you help too. The sound of helicopter rotors cut through the air, getting closer. The cabin's walls shook slightly from the downwash. Sarah moved to the door. Through the trees. She could see the helicopter descending into the clearing. Deputy Hall jumped out before it fully landed, followed by 2 paramedics. In here, Sarah called. They rushed in with equipment. Immediately went to work on David. IV line, oxygen. Vital signs checked rapidly. BP is 70/40, one paramedic announced. Temp is 104. We need to move now. They loaded David onto a stretcher. Emily refused to leave his side. Sarah didn't force her. The girl had been through enough. What about him? Hall gestured to Gerald. He needs psychiatric evaluation. But handle him gently. He's not a criminal. He's just lost. Hall nodded. Understood. The paramedics carried David out. Emily followed, holding his hand. Gerald watched them go, tears streaming down his weathered face. I just wanted to help, he said to no one in particular. Sarah touched his shoulder. I know. Come on, let's get you somewhere warm. Hall took Gerald carefully by the arm and led him outside. The old man didn't resist. All the fight had left him. Sarah was about to follow when Rex moved to the corner where Emily and David had been huddled. He sniffed something on the ground, picked it up carefully in his mouth. A stuffed animal, a small bear, worn and dirty. Rex carried it outside and went straight to the helicopter. He dropped it at Emily's feet. The girl looked down. Her eyes widened. Mr. Bear, I thought I lost him. She picked up the toy and hugged it tight. Then she knelt and racked her arms around Rex's neck. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rex stood still, accepting the embrace but not quite returning it. Still that strange distance in his eyes. The helicopter lifted off, carrying David and Emily toward the hospital in Kalispell. The noise faded gradually. Silence returned to the forest. Hall loaded Gerald into his vehicle. I'll get him processed. You did good work today, Chen. Rex did most of it. Take the win, you earned it. Sarah watched him drive away. Then she looked at Rex. He sat in the snow, staring at nothing. Or maybe staring at something only he could see. You knew. Knew, she said quietly. You knew they were in there before I did. How? He didn't answer. Of course he didn't. He was a dog. But something about his behavior nagged at her. The intensity, the refusal to obey commands, the way he'd found the crawl space. Like he'd been thinking, problem-solving. She'd worked with canines before. They were smart, well-trained. But this felt different. They hiked back to her truck as the sun began its descent. The temperature dropped further. Sarah's body ached from adrenaline crash. Her mind kept replaying the scene. Gerald's breakdown, David's condition, Emily's tears. At least they were alive. After 11 days, that felt like a miracle. Rex walked beside her, matching her pace perfectly. Never pulling, never lagging, just present. You're full of surprises, Sarah said. I'll give you that. His ear twitched, the only acknowledgement. When they reached the truck, Sarah gave him water and a protein bar from her emergency supplies. He ate mechanically, drank efficiently, then returned to sitting and staring. She started the engine and turned the heat on full blast. Her fingers were numb, her toes ached, but Emily and David Rodriguez were safe. That was what mattered. Her radio crackled. Chen, this is Kalispell Regional. Your patient is in surgery, critical but stable. Doctor says you got him here just in time. Another hour and... Understood, thank you. Another hour. They'd almost lost him. If Rex hadn't found that cabin, if he hadn't alerted so insistently. Sarah looked at her new partner. You saved 2 lives today. You know that? Rex stared straight ahead, silent, distant. Whatever had driven him in that moment seemed buried again. She drove toward town as darkness claimed the mountains. Tomorrow there would be paperwork, reports, interviews, but tonight, she just wanted to go home. Except home felt different now, less empty somehow. She glanced at Rex again. He was still a mystery, still damaged, but maybe that was okay. Maybe they could figure out this partnership together. 2 broken pieces, trying to make something whole. 3 days later, Sarah sat in the waiting area of Kalispell Regional Medical Center. The hospital smelled like antiseptic and recycled air. She'd come to check on David Rodriguez, to see how he and Emily were doing. Rex lay at her feet. Hospital policy technically prohibited animals, but Sarah had explained he was a working canine. The staff had made an exception. A nurse approached. Officer Chen? Mr. Rodriguez is awake. He's asking to see you. Sarah followed her down the sterile hallway. Rex walked perfectly at heel. His nails clipped softly against the linoleum floor. They passed rooms filled with beeping machines and low conversations, life continuing in 100 small ways. David's room was at the end of the hall. Emily sat in a chair beside his bed, coloring in a book someone had given her. She looked up when Sarah entered. Her face broke into a smile. Officer Chen. David turned his head slowly. His skin had returned to a normal color. The fever flush was gone. IV lines ran into his arm, delivering antibiotics and fluids, but his eyes were clear and alert. You saved our lives, he said. His voice was weak but steady. Rex did most of the work. Sarah replied, Where is he? Right here. Hospital rules say he should wait outside, but Rules can be bent. David smiled. I want to thank him properly. Sarah gestured. Rex entered the room calmly. He went first to Emily, sniffed her carefully, then seemed satisfied she was well. Then he approached David's bed. David reached down and touched Rex's head. Thank you, buddy. You're a real hero. Rex accepted the touch without reaction. Just stood there, patient and still. Emily put down her coloring book. Can I pet him? Of course, Sarah said. The girl knelt and wrapped her arms around Rex's neck. He tolerated it, didn't pull away, but didn't lean into the affection either. That same emotional distance Sarah had noticed before. A woman entered the room. David's sister, based on the family resemblance. She carried coffee and looked exhausted. You're the officer, she said. The one who found them. Yes, ma'am. Thank you doesn't seem like enough. Her voice caught. We thought we'd given up hope. I'm just glad they're safe. David shifted in bed, wincing. The doctor said the infection was severe, sepsis, if you'd found us even a few hours later. He didn't finish, didn't need to. What happened out there? Sarah asked. How did you end up at that cabin? David's expression darkened. We were following the marked trail. Day 3 of our trip. Then a storm came in fast. White-out conditions. We got turned around. Lost the trail completely. Emily climbed back into her chair. Dad hurt his leg on a rock. There was so much blood. I tried to keep pressure on it, David continued. But we were lost. Cold. I knew we needed shelter fast. Then we saw the cabin. Thought it was abandoned. Gerald Pittman, Sarah said. The man who locked you in. What can you tell me about him? He seemed kind at first. Gave us blankets. Started a fire. Fed us soup. David's jaw clenched. Then he wouldn't let us leave. Said we'd bring others. That the government was watching. He got more paranoid each day. Did he hurt you? No, but he threatened to. Said if we tried to escape, he'd have to protect his home. We were too weak to fight. My leg was infected. Emily was terrified. His voice broke. I failed her. I couldn't protect my own daughter. Sarah shook her head. You kept her alive for 11 days. That's not failure. That's love. Emily reached for her father's hand. You told me stories every night. You kept me warm. You saved me, Dad. Tears slipped down David's face. A knock at the door interrupted the moment. A woman in a white coat entered. Dr. Elena Voss. Sarah recognized her. Elena had been friends with Tom, had come to the funeral, had tried to reach out afterward. Sarah had pushed her away like she'd pushed everyone away. Officer Chen, Elena said, can I borrow you for a moment? Of course. They stepped into the hallway. Rex followed automatically. Elena glanced at him with professional interest. That's your new partner? Yes, Rex. I heard about the rescue. Impressive work. Elena's expression shifted to something more serious. I need to talk to you about him. About Rex? Why? The K9 unit asked me to do a routine post-mission evaluation. Standard procedure after field deployment. I examined him yesterday. Sarah's stomach tightened. Is something wrong? Come to my office. I'll show you. They walked through the hospital to the veterinary consultation room. Elena used it for working dogs and service animals. Inside, she pulled up files on her computer. Rex's medical history shows he was injured during the training accident that killed his handler. Blunt force trauma to the head and chest. I knew about the accident, not the specifics. Elena pulled up an X-ray image. This is his skull. See here? Fracture lines. Healed now, but significant damage. And here, she pointed to another area. His nasal cavity. Bone fragments. Scar tissue. What does that mean? It means his olfactory system is compromised. The receptors that process scent, they're damaged, significantly. Sarah stared at the image. But he tracked Emily and David. He found that cabin when no one else could. I know, that's what's extraordinary. Elena turned to face her. His sense of smell is maybe 30% of what it should be. A normal canine has roughly 220 million scent receptors. Rex probably has less than 70 million functional ones. That's not possible. He tracked them through 6 miles of forest. Exactly, which means he compensated. Used other senses. Hearing, visual cues, problem-solving, intelligence. Elena paused. Sarah, I've been working with canines for 15 years. I've never seen a dog adapt like this. He shouldn't be able to function as a working dog at all. But somehow, he's not just functioning. He's excelling. Sarah looked down at Rex. He sat calmly, seemingly unaware he was the subject of conversation. Or maybe he just didn't care. What are you saying? I'm saying your partner is remarkable, and I think the K9 unit needs to know about this. His methods, his adaptations. It could revolutionize how we train dogs with disabilities. They'll take him away, for study. Possibly, for evaluation at least. Sarah's chest tightened. She'd just gotten him, just started to understand their partnership. He's been through enough, lost his handler, nearly died. Now he's finally working again. I understand, but think about what this could mean. Dozens of dogs get rejected from programs due to sensory issues. If we can understand how Rex compensates, we could train them differently, save them, give them purpose. It made sense, logically, strategically. But logic didn't account for the connection forming between her and this strange, distant dog. Didn't account for the fact that Rex had saved 2 lives while supposedly handicapped. I need to think about it, Sarah said. Of course, but I had to tell you, it's important. They returned to David's room. Emily was showing her father her coloring book. Simple drawings of mountains and trees. A stick figure family. A dog that might have been Rex. Officer Chen, David said. Emily wants to ask you something. The girl looked up shyly. Can we visit Rex sometime? After you go home? Sarah smiled. Of course. Anytime you want. Will you still be his partner? Yes. As long as he'll have me. Emily seemed satisfied with that answer. She went back to coloring. Sarah's radio crackled. Deputy Hall's voice came through. Chen, you copy? She stepped into the hallway. Go ahead. Need you back at the station. Captain Morrison from K9 Command is here. Wants to talk about the Rodriguez rescue. Her stomach sank. On my way. She said goodbye to the Rodriguez family and left the hospital. The drive to the station took 15 minutes. Her mind raced the entire time. Morrison was here, probably already knew about Rex's condition. Probably wanted him back for evaluation. The station was busy. Officers moving between desks, phones ringing, the controlled chaos of law enforcement. Morrison waited in the conference room. Tall, 50s, gray hair cut military short. He stood when Sarah entered. Officer Chen, excellent work on the Rodriguez case. Thank you, sir. Your new partner performed exceptionally. Rex is quite the dog. Here it comes, Sarah thought. I've reviewed Dr. Voss's evaluation report. Morrison clasped his hands behind his back. The findings are remarkable and troubling. Troubling, sir? A canine with compromised olfactory function shouldn't be in the field. It's a liability, to the dog and to his handler. With respect, sir, Rex just saved 2 lives. I'd say he's proven his capability. In one mission, under specific circumstances. Morrison's expression remained neutral. We need to understand how he's compensating, what methods he's using. That requires controlled observation, testing. You want to pull him from active duty? Temporarily, 6 months. Maybe a year. We'll evaluate his capabilities systematically, document his techniques. Then we can decide if he returns to field work or transitions to a different role. Sarah's hands clenched. He just lost his previous handler 6 months ago. Now you want to take him away from another partner? Put him in a lab? Not a lab, a training facility. He'll be well cared for. He'll be alone, again. Morrison sighed. Officer Chen, I understand you formed an attachment. But this is bigger than one partnership. If we can learn from Rex, we could help dozens of dogs, save hundreds of lives down the road. He was right. Sarah knew he was right. But knowing didn't make it easier. How long do I have to decide? 48 hours, then I need your answer. Morrison moved toward the door. For what it's worth, I hope you'll make the right choice, for the greater good. He left. Sarah stood alone in the conference room. Through the window, she could see Rex in her truck, sitting in the passenger seat, staring straight ahead like he always did. She'd finally started to feel something again, started to build a connection, and now they wanted to take that away. For the right reasons, maybe. But it still felt like loss. Sarah spent the rest of the day finishing paperwork on the Rodriguez case. Her mind kept drifting to Morrison's ultimatum. 48 hours. Give up Rex for the greater good, or keep him and wonder if she was being selfish. Deputy Hall stopped by her desk. Heard Morrison came by. News travels fast. It always does. What did he want? Sarah explained the situation. Rex's damaged olfactory system, the request for evaluation, the impossible choice. Hall leaned against her desk. What are you going to do? I don't know. What would you do? I'd ask myself what's best for the dog, not for me, for him. That's not helpful. Truth rarely is. He straightened. Get out of here. Go home. Think it through. Answer will come. Sarah drove home as evening settled over the mountains. Rex sat in the passenger seat, silent as always. She kept glancing at him, trying to understand what went on behind those amber eyes. Her house felt less empty with him there. He explored briefly, sniffing corners and doorways. Then he found a spot near the fireplace and lay down. Sarah made dinner, ate without tasting. Rex ate his kibble with mechanical efficiency, no enthusiasm, just fuel for his body. She tried to imagine sending him away, 6 months minimum, maybe a year. Coming back to this empty house alone again. The thought made her chest ache. But she also imagined other dogs, rejected from programs due to injuries or disabilities. Given purpose because of what they learned from Rex. Lives saved because those dogs could now serve. The greater good versus personal need. An impossible equation. Her phone rang. Emily Rodriguez. David had given Sarah their number before she left the hospital. Officer Chen? Hi, sweetie. How's your dad? Better. The doctor says we can go home tomorrow. Emily's voice brightened. I wanted to tell Rex thank you again. Can you tell him for me? Sarah looked at Rex. He'd lifted his head at the sound of Emily's voice through the phone. I'll tell him. And Officer Chen? My dad wants to start a foundation. To help find missing people. He said he's going to name it after Rex. The Rex Rodriguez Recovery Foundation. Isn't that cool? Sarah's throat tightened. That's very cool. Okay, bye. The call ended. Sarah set down her phone. Rex was watching her now, actually making eye contact for once. You hear that? They're naming a foundation after you. His tail moved slightly, not quite a wag, just acknowledgement. You make a real difference, you know that? He held her gaze a moment longer, then laid his head back down. Sarah walked to the window. The sun had set completely. Stars emerged in the clear winter sky. Tom had loved nights like this. They'd sit on the porch together, not talking, just being present. She missed that, missed him, missed feeling connected to another soul. Her radio crackled suddenly. All units, we have a situation. Domestic disturbance at 4782 Pine Ridge Road. Reports of shouting, possible weapons involved. Chen, you're closest, respond. Sarah grabbed her gear, copy, en route. She looked at Rex. Come on, boy, we've got work. He was on his feet instantly. All business. They loaded into the truck and headed out. Pine Ridge Road was 10 minutes away, a rural area. Houses spread far apart. The address belonged to the Carver family. Sarah knew them vaguely. Mark and Linda Carver, 2 kids, teenage son and younger daughter. No history of violence in their file. She arrived to find another patrol car already there. Officer Jenkins, young, maybe 25. He looked relieved when Sarah appeared. What's the situation? She asked. Neighbors called it in. Heard screaming, something breaking. I knocked, but no one's answering. Sarah tried the door. Locked. She peered through the front window. Lights were on inside. Movement in the back of the house. Mr. Carver, Mrs. Carver, this is the sheriff's department. We need to speak with you. Silence. Rex's ears went forward. He stared at the door. A low growl started in his chest. Rex, what is it? The growl intensified. His entire body went tense. Then Sarah heard it. A scream, high-pitched, terrified. A child. We're going in, she told Jenkins. Call for backup. She tried the door handle again. Still locked. Sheriff's department, we're coming in. 1 kick. 2. The door frame splintered. The door swung open. The house interior was chaos. Furniture overturned. Pictures knocked off walls. Broken glass scattered across the floor. Retz bolted ahead. Sarah followed, weapon drawn. Sheriff's department, show yourselves. More screaming, from the back bedroom. Sarah ran, Jenkins behind her. Rex reached the bedroom first. The door was closed. He scratched frantically at it. Sarah threw the door open. Mark Carver stood in the center of the room, wild-eyed, disheveled. A kitchen knife in his right hand. His wife Linda cowered in the corner, blood streaming from a cut on her arm. 2 children huddled behind her. The teenage son, maybe 16. The daughter, no more than 8. Mr. Carver, drop the knife. They're lying. Mark's voice was raw. All of them, lying about me. Nobody's lying. Just put down the knife. Let's talk. You're part of it too. All part of the conspiracy. He was having a psychotic break. Paranoid delusions. Sarah had seen it before. Dangerous situations that could escalate in seconds. Mark, I'm Officer Chen. Remember me? I helped your son when his bike was stolen last summer. Recognition flickered briefly in his eyes, then vanished. No, you're one of them. Rex positioned himself between Mark and the family. That same protective stance from the cabin. His growl was constant now, a warning. Mark, look at your family, your wife, your kids. They're scared. You don't want to hurt them. I'm not hurting them. I'm protecting them. He gestured with the knife. From all of you. Linda sobbed. Mark, please, you're sick. You need help. I'm not sick. You're the sick one. Telling lies, making me look crazy. He took a step toward her, raised the knife. Rex barked, sharp, commanding. Mark froze. The dog took one deliberate step forward, not aggressive, controlled. Like he'd done with Gerald Pittman. Another bark, different tone, almost calming. Your dog knows, Mark whispered. He knows they're lying. Rex knows you're a good man, Sarah said carefully. A good father. But you're confused right now. Let us help you. Mark's hand trembled. The knife wavered. I don't want to hurt them. I love them. I know you do. So put down the knife. Let me take you somewhere safe. Somewhere you can rest. Tears ran down his face. I'm so tired. I know. It's okay to be tired. The knife lowered slowly. Mark's legs buckled. He collapsed to his knees. Sarah moved quickly, secured the knife. Jenkins helped Mark to his feet, while Sarah checked on Linda and the children. You're safe now, she told them. Paramedics are coming. Linda clutched her children. He's never done anything like this before. Never. He's been under so much stress at work, not sleeping. Then today he just snapped. We'll get him help. And protection for you, I promise. Paramedics arrived. They treated Linda's arm. The cut wasn't deep, more traumatic than dangerous. They loaded Mark into an ambulance. He'd calmed significantly, seemed confused about what had happened. Acute psychotic episode, one paramedic explained. Probably triggered by extreme stress and sleep deprivation. Psychiatric hold, 72 hours minimum. Sarah nodded. She'd seen it before. Good people pushed past their breaking point. Minds unable to cope, usually treatable with proper care. The children were taken to their grandmother's house. Linda went with them after refusing hospital admission. She'd be okay physically. Emotionally was another question. Sarah and Jenkins cleared the scene, documented everything, photographed evidence. By the time they finished, it was nearly midnight. That could have gone very wrong, Jenkins said, if you hadn't gotten through to him. Rex got through to him, not me. That dog is something special. Sarah looked at Rex. He sat patiently beside her truck, waiting, just doing his job like it was nothing remarkable. They drove home in silence. Sarah's mind replayed the scene. Mark's wild eyes, the knife, the terrified children. How quickly Rex had assessed and responded. Twice now, he de-escalated violent situations through sheer presence and intelligence. At home, she poured herself whiskey, drank it slowly while watching Rex. He'd returned to his spot by the fireplace, calm as if nothing had happened. You saved another family tonight, she said quietly. You're 2 for 2 this week. He didn't react, just stared at the dying embers. Sarah's phone buzzed. A text from Deputy Hall. Heard about the Carver situation. You and Rex okay? Fine. Close call, but everyone's safe. Morrison's gonna hear about this. Another successful deployment. Might strengthen your case for keeping him. Or strengthen Morrison's case for studying him, Sarah thought. She finished her whiskey. The choice hadn't become clearer. If anything, tonight made it harder. Rex was exceptional. He saved lives. Did she have the right to keep that potential locked in partnership with just her? Or did she have a responsibility to share it with the larger canine community? Outside, wind howled through the trees. A storm was building. She could feel it in the air pressure, in the way the temperature had dropped suddenly. Rex lifted his head, ears forward, alert to something she couldn't sense. What is it, boy? He stood, walked to the back door, stared out into darkness. Sarah joined him. saw nothing but shadows and swaying branches. Rex whined, low and worried. He scratched at the door. You need to go out? She opened the door. Rex stepped onto the porch, but didn't go into the yard. Just stood there, sniffing, searching. Then he barked, urgent, insistent. Rex, what's wrong? He barked again, ran to her truck. Back to the porch, to the truck again. That same behavior from the cabin. When he'd found Emily and David, someone needed help. Sarah grabbed her coat and gear. Show me. She loaded Rex into the truck. He pressed against the passenger window, nose working frantically. Every muscle in his body radiated urgency. She started the engine. Which way? Rex barked once, sharp, then again. Sarah pulled onto the road. Rex's attention focused north, toward the mountains. When she turned south, he whined and pawed at the window. She corrected course. North it is. They drove through darkness. The storm was building faster now. Wind buffeted the truck. First snowflakes appeared in the headlights. Rex remained fixated. When Sarah slowed at an intersection, he barked, straight ahead. I'm trusting you here, boy. Don't make me look crazy. Her radio crackled. Chen, you copy? She grabbed it. Go ahead. Got a call from Montana Highway Patrol. Single vehicle accident reported near mile marker 47. No other units available. Can you respond? Mile marker 47. Exactly where they were headed. Already en route, ETA 5 minutes. How did you... Long story. Chen out. She looked at Rex. You knew. Somehow you knew. He didn't acknowledge her, just stared ahead with absolute focus. The accident scene appeared around a curve. A sedan had left the road and crashed through the guardrail. It sat nose down in a steep embankment, 30 feet below road level, headlights still on, pointing into darkness. Sarah pulled over and activated her emergency lights, grabbed her flashlight and first aid kit. Rex was already out of the truck before she could leash him. Rex, wait. He ignored her completely, scrambled down the embankment toward the crashed vehicle. Sarah followed carefully. The slope was treacherous, ice beneath fresh snow. Her boots slipped twice. Rex reached the car first, barked urgently at the driver's side door. Sarah aimed her flashlight inside. A woman, mid-30s. Unconscious. Blood on her forehead. The airbag had deployed. Spiderweb cracks covered the windshield. Ma'am, can you hear me? No response. Sarah tried the door. Jammed shut. The impact. Act had crushed the frame. She moved to the passenger side. That door opened after several hard pulls. She crawled inside and checked the woman's vitals. Pulse present but weak. Breathing shallow. Head trauma. Possible internal injuries. I need an ambulance to mile marker 47. Single vehicle accident. 1 victim. Unconscious. Head trauma. Copy. Ambulance dispatched. 20 minutes. 20 minutes in this weather. Could be longer. Sarah examined the woman more carefully. Her right leg was trapped beneath the collapsed dashboard. Blood soaked through her jeans. The engine compartment had been pushed back during impact. Then Sarah heard it. A sound from the back seat. Faint. A whimper. She turned. A child's car seat. Rear-facing. A baby. Oh God, she climbed into the back. The baby couldn't have been more than 6 months old. Eyes closed. Not moving. Sarah's heart stopped. She touched the infant's chest. Felt gentle rise and fall. Breathing. Alive. Just sleeping through everything. Thank God, thank God, Rex barked from outside. Different tone, warning. Sarah looked up. Smoke. Thin wisps rising from the crushed hood. No. Fire. The engine was damaged. Fuel line probably ruptured. One spark and the whole vehicle would ignite. She had to get them out. Now. The mother first. Sarah tried to free her trapped leg. The dashboard wouldn't budge. She pulled harder. Nothing. Rex barked again. More urgent. The smoke thickened. Sarah could smell gasoline now. Strong. Overwhelming. Come on. She braced her feet and pulled with everything she had. The metal groaned. Shifted slightly. Not enough. I need help here. Rex. The dog immediately squeezed through the passenger door, into the front seat. He grabbed the woman's jacket in his teeth and pulled. Together they heaved. The dashboard shifted another inch, then 2. The woman's leg came free. Sarah dragged her out through the passenger door. Rex backed out ahead of them. They pulled her up the embankment. Every foot was agony. The woman was dead weight. The slope was steep. Halfway up, Sarah's grip slipped. The woman started sliding back down. Rex lunged, grabbed her jacket again, held on while Sarah repositioned. Good boy. Don't let go. They reached the road. Sarah laid the woman down and checked her vitals again. Still breathing, still alive. The baby. I have to get the baby. She turned back toward the car. The smoke was heavier now. Orange glow flickered beneath the hood. Sarah ran, slid down the embankment, reached the passenger door. The heat was intense, fire spreading. She climbed into the back seat. Her fingers fumbled with the car seat straps. The buckle was jammed. She pulled, yanked. Nothing. Come on! Flames appeared along the dashboard. The heat became unbearable. Sarah pulled out her pocket knife, cut through the straps, grabbed the car seat with the baby still secured inside, turned to exit. The driver's side door was engulfed in flames. The fire had spread faster than possible, blocking the passenger door now too. She was trapped. Rex appeared at the passenger door. He barked, furious, demanding, "I can't get out." He disappeared. Sarah's mind raced. The windows were too small. The fire was spreading. In seconds, this entire car would be an inferno. Then Rex was back, dragging something, a tire iron, from Sarah's emergency kit in her truck. He dropped it on the ground outside the passenger door, barked at Sarah. She understood, grabbed the tire iron through the door, swung it hard at the rear passenger window. The glass spiderwebbed. Second swing, it shattered. She pushed the car seat through first, then squeezed through herself. Her jacket caught on glass shards. She jerked free. Fabric tore. Rex grabbed the car seat handle in his teeth, started dragging it up the embankment. Sarah followed. Her lungs burned. Her eyes watered from smoke. Heat scorched her back. They were 10 feet up the slope when the gas tank exploded. The shockwave threw Sarah forward. She hit the ground hard, rolled. Her ears rang. Her vision blurred. Strong hands grabbed her. Deputy Hall. When had he arrived? "Sarah, you okay?" She nodded. Couldn't speak yet. "The baby?" She pointed. Rex sat beside the car seat, shielding it with his body. The infant was crying now, startled by the explosion, but alive, safe. Paramedics surrounded the mother, loading her onto a stretcher. One broke away and took the baby, examined carefully, gave Sarah a thumbs up. Both would be okay. Hall helped Sarah to her feet. "How did you know to come here?" She looked at Rex. He sat calmly now, like nothing extraordinary had happened. He knew. Don't ask me how. He just knew. The fire department arrived, doused the burning vehicle. It was a total loss. Blackened metal and melted plastic. If Sarah had been 30 seconds slower, she didn't want to think about it. A highway patrol officer approached. That was the bravest thing I've ever seen. And the craziest. Just doing my job. Your dog too. I've never seen anything like that. He was problem-solving, using tools. That's not normal canine behavior. Sarah knew. She'd known since the cabin. Rex was different, special, operating on a level she couldn't fully comprehend. The paramedics transported the mother and baby to Kalispell Regional. Both stable, both alive, because Rex had somehow sensed disaster before it happened. Hall drove Sarah back to her truck. Rex rode between them. "You should get checked out too. That was a hell of an explosion." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You're shaking." She was. Adrenaline crash. Her hands trembled. Her legs felt weak. "I just need to go home." "Fair enough, but Sarah?" He looked at her seriously. "Morrison needs to know about this. Tonight proved Rex isn't just good. He's extraordinary. That has implications." "I know." She drove home in silence. Rex sat beside her. She reached over and touched his head. He didn't pull away this time, just accepted the contact. 3 families in 1 week, she whispered. "You've saved 3 families." At home, she collapsed onto the couch, exhausted beyond words. Rex lay down beside her, close enough that she could feel his warmth. Her phone rang. Captain Morrison. "Officer Chen, I just received reports about the accident, about Rex's behavior." "Sir, I can explain. No explanation needed. I've made my decision." "Rex stays with you." Sarah sat up. "What? A dog that can sense disasters before they happen? That uses tools and solves problems? I'd be an idiot to pull him from the field. Whatever he's doing, it's working. And you're clearly the right partner for him. Thank you, sir. Don't thank me. Just keep saving lives, both of you. Morrison out. The call ended. Sarah looked at Rex. Did you hear that? You're staying. His tail moved, just slightly, but it was there. A wag. The first real emotion she'd seen from him. She wrapped her arms around him, buried her face in his fur. We're partners, for real now. No one's taking you away. He didn't pull back. For the first time, he leaned into her embrace. Just a little, but it was enough. Outside, the storm raged. Snow fell heavy and thick. But inside, Sarah Chen felt something she hadn't felt in 18 months. Hope. She wasn't alone anymore. She had a partner. A purpose. A reason to keep moving forward. Tom would have liked Rex, would have appreciated his quiet strength, his unwavering dedication. She wished he could have met him. I'm going to be okay, she whispered to the memory of her husband. We both are. Rex rested his head on her lap, his eyes closed, finally at peace. Sarah's own eyes grew heavy. Exhaustion claimed her. She drifted toward sleep with one hand on Rex's fur, feeling his heartbeat, solid, real, present. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new rescues, new moments of danger and triumph. But tonight they rested. Two broken souls who'd found each other in the darkness. And somehow, together, they'd become whole. 5 days after the accident, Sarah received a call from Kalispell Regional. David Rodriguez was being discharged. He and Emily wanted to see her before they left. She drove to the hospital with Rex. The winter sun hung low and bright. Clean snow covered everything. The kind of day that made Montana feel like the most beautiful place on earth. David looked stronger. Color had returned to his face. He walked without assistance. Emily bounced beside him, energy fully restored. Officer Chen. Emily ran forward and hugged Sarah tight. Hey, sweetie, you look great. Dad says we can go home today, back to Bozeman. David extended his hand. Sarah shook it. His grip was firm, steady. I wanted to thank you properly. Before we left, what you did for us. There aren't words. You already thanked me, multiple times. Not enough. Never enough. He paused. I meant what I said about the foundation. The Rex Rodriguez Recovery Foundation. We're making it official. Filed the paperwork yesterday. Sarah's throat tightened. That's incredible. We're starting with a $20,000 donation. It's not much, but it's a beginning. We'll focus on cold missing persons cases, provide resources for extended searches, support for families. David looked at Rex. And we'll advocate for canine units, better funding, better equipment. Emily knelt beside Rex. You're going to help so many people, just like you helped us. The dog accepted her affection with more openness now. Not quite warmth, but something close. Progress. A woman approached. Dr. Elena Voss. She smiled at Sarah. Glad you're here. I have something to show you. They walked to her office while David and Emily said goodbye to the hospital staff. Inside, Elena pulled up files on her computer. I've been studying Rex's case extensively. Consulted with colleagues across the country, veterinary neurologists, behavior specialists. She turned the screen towards Sarah. Look at this. Brain scans, CT images, areas highlighted in different colors. This is Rex's brain. See these regions? Elena pointed. Enhanced activity. His brain has literally rewired itself to compensate for olfactory loss. He's processing visual and auditory information at levels we've never documented in canines. What does that mean? It means he's not just adapting. He's evolving. His brain created new neural pathways, new ways of interpreting the world. He's essentially developed a different kind of intelligence. Sarah stared at the images. Is that even possible? Apparently, the trauma from his accident forced his brain to find alternative solutions, and it did, spectacularly. Elena leaned back. Sarah, Rex isn't just special. He's unprecedented. The things he's doing shouldn't be possible, but he's doing them anyway. Morrison said he could stay with me. Keep working. I know, and I agree with that decision. But I hope you'll let me continue studying him. Non-invasively. Just observations. Documentation. This could change how we understand animal cognition entirely. Sarah considered, As long as it doesn't interfere with his work or well-being. It won't, I promise. They returned to the lobby. David and Emily were ready to leave. A taxi waited outside to take them to the bus station. Emily hugged Rex one final time. Goodbye, Rex. I'll never forget you. David shook Sarah's hand again. If you ever need anything at all, you call me. I will. She watched them leave. A father and daughter who'd been given a second chance. Because of Rex. Because of the partnership she'd almost given up. Deputy Hall found her in the parking lot. Got something you need to see. They drove to the station. Inside, Hall led her to the conference room. A woman waited there. Late 40s. Professional attire. Kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. Officer Chen, this is Dr. Patricia Wu. She's a psychiatrist working with Gerald Pittman. Dr. Wu stood and shook Sarah's hand. Thank you for coming. Mr. Pittman asked to see you. He's been making excellent progress. The isolation had severely impacted his mental health, but with proper treatment, he's stabilizing. That's good to hear. He wanted me to give you this. Dr. Wu handed Sarah an envelope. Inside was a handwritten letter. Gerald's shaky script covered the page. Officer Chen, I don't expect forgiveness for what I did. Keeping that family prisoner was wrong. I know that now. The isolation made me paranoid. Made me forget who I was. Your dog Rex reminded me. The way he looked at me. Like he understood. Like he'd been broken too, but found his way back. I'm trying to find my way back now. Thank you for not giving up on me. Gerald Pittman. Sarah folded the letter carefully. Where is he now? Psychiatric facility in Missoula. Voluntary admission. He'll be there at least 6 months, possibly longer. Dr. Wu's expression softened. The prosecutor declined to file charges. Given the circumstances and his mental state, he'll get treatment instead of jail time. That's the right call. After Dr. Wu left, Hall handed Sarah a file. One more thing. The woman from the car accident? Jennifer Morrison. No relation to the captain. She woke up yesterday. Sarah opened the file. Jennifer's statement was inside. I don't remember much. Just the car sliding. Then nothing. Until I woke up in the hospital. They told me a police officer saved me and my daughter. Pulled us from a burning car. I need to meet her. Thank her. She's asking to see you, Hall said. Her and the baby. They're still in the hospital for observation. Sarah visited Jennifer's room that afternoon. The woman looked exhausted but grateful. The baby slept peacefully in a hospital crib beside the bed. Officer Chen. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. You saved our lives. I was just doing my job. You risked your life. They told me the car exploded seconds after you got out. You could have died. Sarah didn't know what to say. It was true. She'd come terrifyingly close. Why? Jennifer asked. Why would you do that for strangers? Sarah thought about Tom, about the empty years after his death, about Rex finding her when she'd given up on connection. Because everyone deserves a chance. To live, to love their family, to see tomorrow. Jennifer reached out and squeezed Sarah's hand. Thank you for giving us that chance. The baby stirred, made soft cooing sounds. Sarah smiled. What's her name? Claire. Claire Sarah Morrison. Sarah's breath caught. You named her. After you. So she'll always remember. So we'll always remember. Jennifer wiped tears away. You gave her life twice. Once by saving us. Once by showing us what courage looks like. Sarah left the hospital with emotions swirling. Pride, humility, purpose. She'd spent 18 months convinced her best days were behind her. That Tom's death had ended her capacity for meaningful connection. Rex had proven her wrong. Back at the station, Captain Morrison was waiting. With him stood a man in military dress uniform. Insignia marked him as Army K-9 Corps. Officer Chen, this is Colonel James Barrett. He's here about Rex. Sarah's stomach dropped. I thought we agreed Rex stays with me. We did, Morrison assured her. Colonel Barrett isn't here to take him. He's here to understand him. Barrett stepped forward. Officer Chen, Rex's previous handler was one of my soldiers, Sergeant Michael Torres. He died in the training accident. I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you. I've read the reports about Rex's recent performance. The rescues. The problem-solving. Torres always said Rex was special. I didn't understand what he meant until now. Barrett's expression became intense. I need to know. Is it replicable? Can we train other dogs to think like Rex thinks? I don't know. Dr. Voss says his abilities come from brain trauma, from adaptation. But the methods, the way he approaches problems, that could be taught, if we understand it. Barrett pulled out a folder. I'd like your permission to observe Rex in training, document his techniques. We have dozens of canines with various disabilities. If we can help even a few of them serve like Rex serves. Sarah looked at Morrison. He nodded. Your call, Chen, but I think it's worth considering. She thought about the dogs. Good dogs who'd been rejected from programs. Who could have purpose if someone just understood how to reach them? Non-invasive observation only. Rex's well-being comes first. Agreed, Barrett said immediately. And any techniques you develop, you share freely with all canine programs, not just military. Barrett smiled. You drive a hard bargain, but yes, agreed. They shook hands, another piece falling into place. Rex's legacy wouldn't just be the lives he saved directly. It would be the dogs he inspired, the handlers who learned from his example. That evening, Sarah sat on her porch with Rex beside her. The sun set behind the mountains in brilliant orange and purple. Stars began to emerge. You've changed everything, she told him quietly. You know that? His tail wagged, more freely now, more genuine. 3 families saved, 1 foundation created. Lives changed, all in 1 week. She scratched behind his ears. Tom would have loved you, would have been so proud. Rex leaned against her leg, solid, present, real. Sarah pulled out her phone, opened her photos, found one of Tom, his smile bright, his eyes full of life. She'd avoided looking at his pictures for months. It hurt too much. But now, the pain had softened, become something bearable, something that coexisted with hope instead of crushing it. I'm moving forward. She whispered to the image, not forgetting you, never that, but living again, really living. Rex rested his head on her knee. She felt his warmth, his steady breathing, the simple comfort of not being alone. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new calls, new people needing help. But she'd face them with Rex beside her, her partner, her friend, the dog who'd saved her by letting her save others. The stars grew brighter as darkness deepened. Sarah stayed on the porch, hand on Rex's fur, heart fuller than it had been in 18 months. She was Officer Sarah Chen, canine handler, widow, survivor, and for the first time since Tom's death, she was okay with all of those things, because she wasn't defined by loss anymore. She was defined by what she did with what remained, by the lives she touched, the people she saved, the partnership she'd built with a broken dog who refused to stay broken. They'd found each other in the darkness, and together, they'd become light. 3 months later, spring arrived in Montana. Snow melted from the valleys. Green returned to the meadows. Rivers swelled with runoff. The world came alive again after winter's grip. Sarah's house no longer felt empty. Rex had claimed his territory. His bed sat beside the fireplace, his toys scattered across the floor. His presence filled every room with purpose and warmth. They walked together every evening, through trails winding along rivers, past fields dotted with wildflowers. Rex moved with confidence now, his head held high, his steps sure and steady. Sarah visited Tom's grave weekly, brought fresh flowers, talked to him about cases, about Rex, about how she was finally learning to live with loss instead of being consumed by it. I think you'd approve, she said to the headstone one afternoon. Rex is good for me, keeps me honest, keeps me moving forward. Rex sat patiently beside her. He'd learned this routine, seemed to understand its importance. I'm not replacing you, nobody could, but I'm not drowning anymore either. That's something. The wind rustled through nearby trees, birds sang. Life continued in its endless cycle. Sarah felt peace settle over her. Not happiness exactly, but acceptance, and that was enough. Her radio crackled. Chen, you available? She grabbed it. Go ahead. Got a request. The Rodriguez family is in town. They're hosting an event for the foundation. Asked if you and Rex could attend. Sarah smiled. We'll be there. The event was held at the Flathead Valley Community College Auditorium. Sarah arrived to find the parking lot packed. Hundreds of people had come. Inside, a banner hung across the stage. Rex Rodriguez Recovery Foundation, first annual fundraiser. Tables filled with auction items lined the walls. Photos of missing persons cases covered display boards. David Rodriguez spotted her immediately. He looked completely recovered, healthy, strong. Emily bounced beside him wearing a dress with dogs printed on it. "Officer Chen, you came." Emily ran and hugged her. "Wouldn't miss it." David shook her hand warmly. "We've raised over $50,000. Can you believe it? In 3 months, people want to help. They just needed a way." "That's incredible. And it's because of Rex." His story inspired all of this. The dog who saved lives despite being told he couldn't. People connect with that. Emily knelt and hugged Rex. He tolerated it with patient dignity. Over the past months, he'd grown more comfortable with affection. Still reserved, still cautious, but healing. Deputy Hall arrived with several other officers. The mayor came. Local news crews set up cameras. This had become bigger than anyone expected. The ceremony began at 7. David took the stage first. "Thank you all for coming. 3 months ago, my daughter and I were lost. 11 days in the wilderness. Injured. Freezing. Certain we'd die." The room fell silent. Every eye focused on him. Then a police officer and her canine partner found us, saved us, brought us home. That dog was told he couldn't serve, that his injuries made him worthless. But he proved everyone wrong. He proved that disability doesn't mean inability, that broken things can heal, that hope exists even in the darkest moments. Applause erupted. David waited for it to quiet. Tonight, we honor that message. We honor all the families still searching, all the people still hoping, and we honor the canines who served despite the odds. He gestured to Sarah. "Officer Sarah Chen and Canine Rex, would you please join me?" Sarah's heart hammered. She hadn't expected this. She walked to the stage with Rex at her heel. The crowd rose to their feet. Applause thundered through the auditorium. Emily brought out a framed certificate. "This is for you and Rex, honorary members of our foundation, and our family. Forever." Sarah accepted it, her vision blurred with tears. "Thank you. This means more than you know." The mayor stepped forward. "I have something as well. By authority of Flathead County, I'm pleased to present Canine Rex with the Medal of Valor for exceptional bravery and service, for saving multiple lives, for representing the best of what law enforcement can be." He placed a medal around Rex's neck. The dog sat perfectly still, accepting the honor with quiet dignity. The crowd applauded again. Phones captured photos and video. Local news reporters moved closer for interviews. But Sarah's attention focused on Rex, on the dog who'd been broken and cast aside, who'd found purpose through sheer determination, who'd saved her just as much as she'd saved anyone else. After the ceremony, people lined up to meet Rex, to shake Sarah's hand, to share their own stories of loss and hope and recovery. Jennifer Morrison attended with baby Claire. The infant had grown significantly, healthy and alert. "I wanted you to see her, see how well she's doing. Because of you." Gerald Pittman's psychiatrist came. "Gerald wanted me to tell you he's doing much better. He's been volunteering at a veterans center, helping others who struggle with isolation. He said Rex gave him hope that healing was possible." The Carver family attended. Mark Carver had completed psychiatric treatment. He looked stable, clear-eyed. His wife Linda stood beside him, their children close. "We're rebuilding," Mark said quietly, "taking it one day at a time. Your intervention saved my family, saved me from doing something irreversible. Story after story, life after life, all connected through Rex, through the ripples of one dog refusing to give up." Colonel Barrett approached near the end of the evening. "Officer Chen, I wanted to update you. We've implemented new training protocols based on Rex's methods. 5 dogs who were scheduled for retirement are now active in the field, working, serving, making a difference." "That's wonderful. It's just the beginning. We're sharing the protocols nationwide. Your dog is changing canine training across the country." Barrett smiled. "History will remember Rex, not for what he couldn't do, but for what he proved was possible." As the crowd thinned, Sarah found a quiet corner. Rex lay at her feet, exhausted from all the attention. She sat beside him, just being present in the moment. Dr. Elena Voss joined them. Quite the celebration, overwhelming, honestly. Rex is famous now. There are articles about him in veterinary journals, behavioral science publications. He's become a case study. Elena sat down, but more importantly, he's become hope. For people who think they're too broken to be useful, too damaged to matter. He's proof that's not true. Sarah stroked Rex's fur. He saved me. I was drowning after Tom died. Just going through motions. Rex gave me purpose again. Reminded me why I became a cop in the first place. To help people. Exactly. They sat in comfortable silence. Around them, volunteers cleaned up. The event was winding down, but its impact would continue. The foundation would grow. More families would be helped. More dogs would get second chances. David and Emily approached. We're heading out, but thank you for everything, for being here tonight. Emily hugged Rex one final time. Bye, Rex. You'll always be my hero. The dog's tail wagged, a real wag, full of genuine affection. Sarah drove home under a sky full of stars. Rex sat in the passenger seat, content, peaceful, so different from the distant, damaged dog she'd met 3 months ago. At home, she made tea and sat on the porch. Rex joined her. The night air was cool but not cold. Spring sounds filled the darkness, frogs, crickets, an owl calling from the forest. She pulled out her phone, scrolled through photos from the evening. Rex with his medal, Emily hugging him, the crowd on their feet applauding. Moments captured forever. One photo showed Sarah and Rex together on stage, her hand on his head, his eyes looking up at her, trust reflected there, partnership, maybe even love. She set the phone down. We've come a long way, boy. His tail thumped against the wooden boards. More people to save, more lives to change. You ready for that? He stood, moved closer, rested his head on her lap. The gesture was simple but profound. He was choosing connection, choosing trust, choosing her. Sarah scratched behind his ears. Tom would have loved seeing this, seeing you, seeing me finally okay again. She looked at the photo on her mantle through the window. Tom's image beside Rex's medal. 2 partners. Different kinds. Both essential. Sometimes heroes don't wear badges, she whispered. Sometimes they walk on 4 paws. And sometimes they teach us that moving forward doesn't mean forgetting. It means carrying our past with us while we face the future. Rex's eyes closed. His breathing deepened, sleep claiming him. Sarah stayed on the porch, watching stars wheel slowly overhead, feeling the weight of the medal in her pocket. The certificate from the Rodriguez family. Physical proof that suffering could transform into purpose, that broken things could heal, that hope existed even in the darkest valleys. Her radio sat silent on the table, but tomorrow it would crackle to life. Another call, another person needing help, another chance for Rex to prove that limitations were just starting points for adaptation. They'd face it together, partners, friends, 2 souls who'd found each other when both were lost. The owl called again, distant, haunting, beautiful. Sarah closed her eyes. Let peace wash over her. She was Officer Sarah Chen, canine handler, widow, survivor, healer, hero. But mostly she was just Sarah, a woman learning to live again, to love again, to believe that tomorrow could be better than yesterday. Rex shifted slightly, his warmth against her leg, steady, real, present. Thank you, she whispered. For everything, for saving those families, for saving me, for showing me that broken doesn't mean finished. The night deepened, stars blazed brighter, and somewhere in the mountains another person might need help tomorrow. Another family might face darkness. But Sarah Chen and Canine Rex would be ready. They'd answer the call, they'd face the danger, they'd bring people home. Because that's what heroes did, with or without badges, with or without perfect senses. With or without all the pieces that used to make them whole. They showed up, they tried, they refused to give up, and sometimes, that was enough to change the world. Sarah opened her eyes one final time, looked at Rex sleeping peacefully, felt gratitude so deep it ached. Rest well, partner. Tomorrow we do it all again. The stars wheeled overhead, the night embraced them, and in that moment, everything was exactly as it should be. 2 broken souls, healed by purpose, connected by choice, moving forward together into whatever came next. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. These stories of courage and connection remind us what truly matters. Leave a comment telling us about a hero in your life, human or animal. We read every single one.